got? Hello, bruvs. Hands of Light. Oh, wait, this new book arrivals number 288. Hands of Light, a guide to healing through the human energy field. Preparation for healing. To be healed, bruv. What the fuck is this guy doing? It looks like he's gonna heal. It looks like he's about to fucking molest her. What the hell is that thing? Chapter 12. Explosive release of energy consciousness. Return to Brenda. I don't think I'm going to. Don't know who Brenda is. But I'm not returning it, bro. Alright. Aphrodite by Lewis. Lewis? I don't know how to say the name. Never heard of this book, but from the library of Ruth E. Moffat. Why does that name sound familiar? Ruth E. Moffat. Sounds very familiar. Aphrodite to Albert Besnard. The very ruins themselves of the Greek world teach us how life in our modern world might be made bearable. Richard Wagner. The erudite prodigos of Sils, who flourished towards the end of the 5th century before our era, is the author of the celebrated apologue that Saint Basil recommended to the meditation of all Christians. So is this book about Aphrodite, one would imagine? Don't know. Bera, Britain, sending love and light. Just send about $6 million, buddy. And I can buy a bunch of lights. Testament of Youth. What's it about, bruv? In 1915, Vera Brittain abandoned her studies at Oxford to enlist as a nurse in the armed services. Before the war was over, she had served in London, Malta, and close to the Western Front in France. And she had lost all the men she loved. Out of that experience came this cauterizing book, at once a memoir and an elegy for the bright, passionate generation who came of age on the eve of the war and vanished in its trenches. What do you got, bruv? Moving, sweeping, and one of the greatest accounts of war ever written, Testament of Youth captures the politics, hopes, and despair of Britain and her peers. Or is it Brittain? In his introduction, Brittain's biographer, Mark Bostridge, examines Brittain's struggles to turn her experiences into a book and shows why her work continues to speak to any generation that has been irrevocably changed by war. Fine Lines by Gerard Curry. Seems to be a scarce novel. This guy looks like an actor of some sort. I mean, if not, that's a fucking terrible photo. Gerald Curry is back with Fine Lines, the author of the short fiction anthology Tangled Sheets, returns with this new novel and its accompanying 5 short stories. The book further demonstrates the author's talent with a collection that will delight the reader. The Gentleman Collects. Never heard of this guy. Band Books is the publisher. Band. Don't know what it's about. Couldn't tell you. Conversations with the Dream Mentor. Awaken to your inner guide. In the back, I think it says it's astral projection. So apparently we're talking about leaving the body in the dream. So learn during your dreams with this step-by-step guide that describes the colorful adventures and insights that await you. Many people throughout history have gained great insight and controlled lucid dreams in which they actually communicate with the dream teacher or mentor. This universal archetype might appear a little different to each dreamer, but reaches out to everyone who makes a conscious effort to make contact. They're not listening, bruv. Parliament of Whores. A lone humorist attempts to explain the entire U.S. government. P.J. O'Rourke. Giving money and power to government is like giving whiskey and car keys to teenage boys. The American political system is like a gigantic Mexican Christmas fiesta. Each political party is a huge piñata, a papier-mâché donkey, for example. The donkey is filled with full employment, low interest rates, affordable housing, comprehensive medical benefits, a balanced budget, and other goodies. The American voter is blindfolded and gives a stick. The voter then swings the stick wildly in every direction, trying to hit a political candidate on the head and knock some sense into the silly bastard. I was hoping that was signed, but no such luck. Very rare you see a book by P.J. O'Rourke anywhere. At least I rarely do. Since he's dead, I'll start collecting his books, though. Detroit's Grand River and Greenfield neighborhood. Images of modern America. Just local Detroit history. Favorite sons and daughters. Look at that. That's a great fucking shot. Look at that helmet. Look at it, bruv. I implore you. McDonald's. What's that say? The Nailers? The Nailers. That's pretty cool. Look at that old hockey team. Cool stuff, buddy. Station Island by Seamus Haney. Shamo. Look at that guy. Wonder if he's dead. Just guessing he is. Just a book of poems. I shouldn't have bought it, but first edition, nice shape, so I got it. If the twine unravels to the very end, the stuff gathering under my fingernails is being picked off whitewash at the bedside, and the stuff gathering in my ear is their sex-pruned and unfurtherable mouse talk, incubated under lamplight, which will have to be unlearned, even though from there on everything is going to be learning. So the twine unwinds and loosely widens backward through areas that forwarded understandings of all I would undertake. It's not bad. Sweet pea. What did thought do? Stuck a feather in the ground and thought it would grow a hen. That's terrible. When we climb the slopes of the cutting. This book's interesting. The Red Truck by Rudy Wilson. Never heard of this author before, but the cover has just made me think there's something going on with this book in a fucking weird way. Ned was dead a year. His bed was cold and silent. Mama Cade died after he did. She was my grandmother. Her face always reminded me of corn. What? She lived in the pink room. My parents were far away in the new room at the back of the house. We were all there by ourselves with everybody else in the world. We lived on a hill above the dirt road that led to the orphanage. They had the steel push merry-go-round. I thought of it, so still and shiny in the night. The wind blew on it. I had only one friend, a little girl. I knew only in my dreams. Okay. Going to add this to my reading list just because I don't know what the fuck it is. The red truck. All right. This book I only bought because of one story. The Possession of Joel Delaney. And I've come to learn that Reader's Digest condensed books are condensed. Which, I mean, is in the fucking title, but for some reason I didn't understand. And The Possession of Joel Delaney is obviously a condensed version, but you got to believe that what was taken out wasn't very impressive to begin with. So I will read this as well. I don't know about the other stories, but I will read the condensed version of this frickin' book. Maybe if I look through it, there'd be $1,000 bill in the middle. No such luck. Doesn't smell very good either. White Pine Whispers. I may actually have it, but I don't recall the title. Plus, I think it's signed by the author. Oh, there's Joseph Cabet. Brought his white wife back to his Chippewa people, then died. Well, that's unfortunate. Hey, baby, there's my wife. I'm dead. Larry B. Massey, best wishes and good reading for the Reddick family. Book smells very good. Why does that book smell so goddamn good? Like cherries. It's like somebody doused it in cherries. All right, here's about my 20th copy of Dracula that I've only listened to in an audiobook 3/4 of the way through, but have never read it. Eventually I must, but I don't know. Maybe I will start reading it. This I got only because of this. What the fuck is it? Better not have fallen out. I will be pissed. Oh, there it is. Borders Bookshop. June 29th, 1992. How much was this book? $6.95. Let's see if it's on there. There it is. QPAP. What did this guy spend? $49 for how many books? QPAP, MPAP, 30% discount. New York Times, something discount, $235. Cloth, $23.50. So yeah, that's always cool. Find a little book or the receipt in there. George. The Message. On June 24th, 1981, 6 children in the mountain village of George, I don't know how to say that, it's probably wrong, in central Yugoslavia reported that the Virgin Mary had appeared to them on a hillside. Allegedly, she has been returning every day since. Do we believe it, bruv? We don't know. We can't know. Merry Christmas, Peggy. Gertrude Mark. Mank, 1991. I'm looking at this book for months at the store, and I finally got it. 49 cent. 49 cent. Tonquin Footprints. My First 14 Years by Myrna Sudol Rudolph. I don't know where Tonquin is. Apparently this is her. Where was Tonquin? I looked at it and I was just like, where the fuck is it? But I couldn't find it, so I just gave up and figured I'd just buy it. Pam, Winter in a Country Christmas. Should say in the first few pages. Prologue. Maybe some of the Hollywood style. Hopefully it's Michigan, but I don't really care if it was. Myrna's probably more interesting than Myrna's farm in Sherwood. The hell is Sherwood? Farm prints in the early 60s. What's up, bruv? I don't know where it's from. The Hamilton Watch Company out of Pennsylvania was first to introduce a battery-powered watch. Maybe it's Pennsylvania. Our closest town, Sherwin, was suddenly starting to burst at its seams. I don't know where it is. Maybe it's England. Marshall. I don't know where it's at. Don't really care. Clint Hill with Lisa McCubbin. 5 Presidents. My Extraordinary Journey with Eisenhower, Kennedy. That's the only thing I'm interested in is Kennedy, and Dealey Plaza. And I believe he was the guy that was standing on the back of the limo, and they ordered him to get off so CIA could assassinate Kennedy. Yeah, he jumped up there after it was too late because the fucking CIA bastards killed him. Monsters Among Us by Brad Steiger. And does that guy look particularly frightful? No, not really. Whoa, that guy did. The fuck was that? The Vegetable Man? What are you talking about? Tomorrow's Monsters. Monsters and Robots from UFOs. This book could probably be pretty fun. Let's read about zombies, mummies, and other victims of curses. Oh, who was that? Slender Man? It's fucking Phantom. Looks like Skeletor. Hey, He-Man! Whoa, Curse of the Wolfman. Curse of the Wolfman. Alright, well, there you go with that. The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. Older edition of it. Not the oldest, but vintage enough. Probably 80s. Maybe 90s. 71. 88. It's not bad. It's what, 12, 37 years old. Vintage enough, as I said. Add to the collection of bell jars that I have. Gone with the Wind. I probably wouldn't have got it because it's fucking got moisture exposure, but it's an older copy, probably the 50s or 60s. What year is this? Fucking pages are stuck together because it's got water. You son of a bitch, you ever pull away from me again. 61. Fourth printing to JRM. Best part about the book was the fact that it had this inside it. Amazing author. The works of the world's great authors in 25 beautiful library volumes. I think I actually have these. Kipling, Tennyson. Maybe I don't have them. Maybe it's just in a different color. Let's check and see if these ones on that shelf. Obviously, they're a different color if they are the same volumes. Yeah, I think they are these motherfuckers. Yeah, no, not quite. But they look like it. In a way. Tolstoy, there it is. Shakespeare. Voltaire. Boccaccio. Alright, so I was wrong again. Shocking. Faulkner in the university. Class conferences at the University of Virginia. Never read Faulkner, don't really know anything about him. But I always associate him with Hemingway since they're from the same era. Literally know nothing about him, so can't really say if he's good, bad, or indifferent. James Joyce's Ulysses. This is a pretty cool little paperback. I read, I think, 1 or 2 chapters of Ulysses, and I was not impressed. Seemed like rubbish to me, but this is an old 1959 copy, so can't beat that. Who's best writing? Faulkner? I don't know. Have not read him. He's no Thomas More. Well, who is? I have to say I haven't read Thomas More either. Vintage. The Bible and the Forgotten Books of Eden. The Lost Books of the Bible, sorry. Suppressed by the early church fathers who compiled the Bible, these apocryphal books have for centuries been shrouded in silence. Now, for the first time in a paper-bound book, the reader can discover the hidden beauties of the lost books. To be found in this volume are the Apostles' Creed, the Psalms and Odes to Solomon, and other apocryphal writings that have become part of our religious heritage. The story of Joseph and Potiphar's wife, of Adam and Eve, of the girlhood and betrothal of Mary, of the childhood of Jesus Christ. Yeah, it is Jesus Christ. Of the childhood of Jesus are here in all the warmth, intimacy, and humanity of their first telling. Books like new. Couldn't pass it up for 50 cents. Well, what's this? What we got? It's just a blank thing. That was going to be a check for $18 million. Nice book. For some reason, I don't believe that there were all these different hidden books of the Bible. But maybe there were. I don't give a shit, honestly. Patriot Pirates. The privateer war for freedom and fortune in the American Revolution. Hey, we're going to set up a system of income tax. No, you wouldn't do that with fucking, what's his name? John Hancock. John Hancock was a pirate. They were founded by pirates. Ever let anybody tell you that fucking, hey, we got to do this. No, you don't. All this shit's illegal. We were founded by pirates who did what they wanted. And I think the equivalency of what they started a revolution for was like 46 cents. I mean, these bastards steal 46 cents per gallon of gas from us. And I won't belittle the institution of slavery, but Jesus Christ. I mean, this is about as close as The world's come to full slavery. Hey, we got an income tax. You just pay 25 to 50 to 75%. Didn't the Beatles have to pay like 90% of their money? It's fucking criminal. I don't give a shit how much money they have. It's not the government's. We are the government. Don't touch my money. No need for goodbyes. A Beaver Island story of adventure, mystery, mysticism, and second chances by Bill Wellman, DVM. There he is. It's Bill. Well, that's Frank Proctor. Was too busy in his vet practice to see that his wife had entangled herself in a drug deal until it went abruptly sour. Forced to flee for his life, he abandons his practice, covers his tracks as best he can, and looks for a place to hide out, knowing he will inevitably be tracked down and killed. He makes his way to a remote island in Lake Michigan, inhabited mainly by descendants of Irish folk, forced into immigration by a clearance, and American Indians. Learning the ways of Beaver Island, he unintentionally insinuates himself into the local lore of this isolated, thin place where the barrier between the living and the dead is indeed barely perceptible. Is this a fucking novel? I think it is a novel. Just trying to pass it off as some kind of fiction, non-fiction book, but I bet. The Sanatorium. You won't want to leave until you can't. By Sarah Pierce. It was only a quarter. I know it's a piece of shit book, but a beautiful, airy hotel in the Swiss Alps, recently converted from an abandoned sanatorium, is the last place Detective Ellen Warner wants to be, but her estranged brother has invited her there for his engagement party, and she feels she has no choice but to accept. Arriving in the midst of a threatening storm, Ellen immediately feels on edge, and things only get worse when they wake the next morning to find her brother's fiance is missing. With access to the hotel cut off, the guests begin to panic. Da Vinci, Machiavelli, and Borgia, and the world they shared. Oh, it's not Lucretia Borgia? The artist, the philosopher, and the warrior. Oh, it's Caesar Borgia. Was he married to Lucretia? Thought it was about Lucretia. I didn't even fucking look at the. I didn't even look at the. Look at that. It's fucking split. Oh well. Is Lucretia Borgia part of this? That's all I care about is Lucretia Borgia. Only because her name is nice. I don't really know anything about Lucretia Borgia. Yeah, there she is, Lucretia. Sexual behavior. Oh no. The transformative power of near-death experiences. How the messages of NDEs positively impact the world. What's this paper? Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network. Chester Thomas. The Joy of Movement. Coach Carter added AIICI. Is that what it says? We're afraid of our light. Let your light shine like children do. When you do, you give others permission to do the same, and you lift up everyone you encounter. All right. Thanks, buddy. So obviously this is near-death experiences. This book contains a selection of inspiring stories from ordinary people who have had extraordinary experiences that have changed the course and direction of their lives and the lives of those around them. And I was just thinking today that I have a lot of books on Jewish. Look at this. Is she wearing a University of Michigan shirt? It's fucking great. Arab Detroit 9/11. I was thinking that I have a lot of Jewish books, but hardly any Arab books. But Honestly, most of the books on Arabs are always about Islam, so I guess Islam isn't completely Arabic, but they seem to be the leaders of Islam. So I usually don't pick up shit on terrorism just because, how much can. Same with the Holocaust ones, just because how much can you fucking read about death and destruction? But this book looked pretty interesting. Arab Detroit in 9/11. Since Dearborn, which is right down the road from me, is one of the largest Arab enclaves outside of the Middle East. Anyway, no one cares. The Hebrew Republic, Jewish sources, and the transformation of European political thought. This guy write a fucking tablet? I wrote the whole tablet, buddy. This might be a good book to read. It's not very long. What's it about? According to a commonplace narrative, the rise of modern political thought in the West resulted from secularization, the exclusion of religious arguments from political discourse. That sounds like bullshit. But in this path breaking work, Eric Nelson argues that this familiar story is wrong. Instead, he contends political thought in early modern Europe became less, not more, secular with time, and it was the Christian encounter with Hebrew sources that provoked this radical transformation. Is he saying that Christians went away from religious doctrine to spite the Jews? I don't know what he said there. Lastly, Ron May, Blue Black Water. The sinking of the CM Dempson, obviously a ship, obviously in the Great Lakes. Imagine being thrust into a world where everything you knew as a child was now unfamiliar. The working crew on a Great Lakes Iron Core freighter is now your daily connection to earning enough money to go to college. The college. As the events progress, the vessel, which is your home and job, becomes unstable and eventually not seaworthy. The crew is dysfunctional, and the dynamics of interactions of the captain's family throw all caution to the wind. The history and connections to the past become very important to survival. The ship sinks in the blue-black water of Lake Superior, and the aftermath is a study in character and justice. Leadership principles are embedded in the story as a guide to behavior at its best. Oh. All right, that's it. I gave you a chance at greatness, but you didn't accept it. I gave you a chance.